Hey, welcome back. One question I hear all the time is, why are there no resources for mobile system design interviews? I always answer, they're actually there, you just don't know what to search for. Mobile system design is essentially an interview format where you need to design the architecture of a new app. Because it's not a single topic, but a mix of many areas, resources are scattered around the internet and hard to find. You can find those topics one by one, but it's hard to see how all these pieces fit together and what matters most for your prep. That's why I created a knowledge mind map, so that you have a list of what to search for and study without wasting time guessing. It outlines all topics that you need for a mobile system design interview, starting from high-level ones such as networking, API design, software architecture, and going deep into things like request-retry policies. You can use this map to better structure your prep, identify weak spots, and stay focused. This mind map is completely free and you can download it with a link down below in the description. In this video, I'll walk you through it step by step and explain how each part fits into your prep. Having this knowledge mind map is an important part of effective interview preparation. Another part is actually knowing where you need to improve. And for that, it's crucial to receive early feedback on a mock interview. You can practice with a friend or colleague or book a session with me. I highly recommend doing at least 2 mock interviews. One at the beginning of your prep to better understand where you stand and what to improve, and another one closer to the interview. Additionally, you should try solving mobile system design problems at least 5 times by yourself. Alright, let's jump right into the mind map and get started. The mind map contains all the knowledge areas you need to know for a mobile system design interview, divided into sections. You read the mind map clockwise, starting from the top right corner. The sections are mobile domain, API design and networking, software architecture and design patterns, data storage, performance and optimization, observability and testing, privacy and security, advanced topics, and interview strategy. The last section, interview strategy, explains the interview format and how to approach it. It focuses on leadership and communication principles to use during the interview. At the start of your preparation, review the map to get a clear idea of which topics might be asked. Focus on the points and sections in bold font. Those are the required topics for mid-level engineers. The regular font is used for more advanced topics, aimed at senior and staff-level candidates. You can grade yourself in each area to identify your weak spots, like this: mobile domain 4 out of 5, and let's say API design 2 out of 5. This will help you prioritize what to study. I recommend focusing on learning how to apply the bolded topics specifically in the context of mobile system design interviews. Awesome! Now let's explore the topics in the mind map together. Alright, first up is mobile domain. In this section you'll find UI frameworks, which are split into declarative frameworks, like on iOS you have SwiftUI, and on Android there is Jetpack Compose, and imperative frameworks, which include UIKit on iOS and the XML or code-based view system on Android. Next is lifecycle management. On iOS you've got UI View Controller, App Delegate and Scene Delegate, plus SwiftUI views. On Android you'll deal with activity, fragment and application, as well as Jetpack Compose lifecycle. Then there is a big topic of threading and concurrency. iOS uses GCD, Operation Queue, async await with tasks and actors, while Android relies on Looper, Handler, Thread Pool Executor and coroutines. After that is navigation, things like UI Navigation Controller or SwiftUI Navigation Stack for iOS, Navigation Component on Android, the Coordinator pattern, and deep links. You'll also see ways to implement data binding. On iOS you have completion handlers, combine, KVO, and observable object. On Android you use live data or Kotlin coroutines with flow or stateflow. And finally, in mobile domain is runtime, which covers the Android VM and the iOS runtime. Next, we have API design and networking, which is an extremely important section. Under communication protocols, you'll see REST, WebSockets, GraphQL, and gRPC. Real-time updates include HTTP polling, long polling, server-sent events, WebSockets, and push notifications. Pagination covers limit offset, page-based, key set, and cursor-based techniques. API integration is a big one. HTTP clients like URL Session or 𝐎𝐵𝐺𝖓 on iOS and OKHTTP or Retrofit on Android. Serialization and parsing with codable, decodable, and JSON decoder or JSON encoder customization on iOS. Plus Mochi, JSON, and Kotlin X serialization on Android. And don't forget DTO and domain model mappers. There is background calls using URL Session background sessions on iOS and Work Manager or Job Scheduler on Android. Delta updates are a technique where the app only fetches the data that has changed since the last request, instead of downloading everything again, and they can be based on timestamps, sequence IDs, or e-tags. You also have offline and sync considerations like conflict resolution, queuing and background retries, batched requests, resumable uploads and downloads, and pre-fetching. Caching strategies include HTTP cache control headers, e-tag or last modified headers, memory caches with NSCache on iOS or 𝐴𝐵𝐺𝑓 cache on Android, disk cache, and custom cache invalidation strategies. Under authentication, you'll find basic login over HTTPS, third-party logins like sign-in with Apple or Google, OAuth, OpenID, biometric authentication, multi-factor authentication, access token and refresh token flows, and token storage best practices. Retry policies cover exponential backoff, linear backoff, circuit breakers, and retrying after an OAuth token refresh. API evolution and backward compatibility include URI versioning and adding or removing fields. Finally, there is CDN under networking. Moving on to software architecture and design patterns. The first subsection is app-wide architectural patterns: MVC, MVP, MVVM, MVI, Clean Architecture, Viper, and Redux. In design patterns, you have the gang of 4 categories. That just means the authors of a classic book that introduced these patterns. Creational patterns like singleton, factory method, builder, abstract factory, and prototype. Structural patterns including facade, proxy, adapter, decorator, composite, bridge, and flyweight. And behavioral patterns such as observer, chain of responsibility, strategy, mediator, command, memento, interpreter, and visitor. Under Other, you'll see dependency injection, manual DI in Swift on iOS, or manual DI in Kotlin on Android, plus swinject on iOS and hilt or dagger on Android, delegate pattern, reactive programming, service locator, and feature flags or remote config. Alright, next up, the data storage section starts with key value storage, user defaults on iOS, shared preferences, or preferences data store on Android. Next is database options, including SQLite, Realm, Core Data on iOS, Room on Android, and ObjectBox. Secure storage covers iOS keychain and Android encrypted shared preferences or Jetpack security. Then there is a basic file storage, and under binary storage on Android you have Proto Data Store. Performance and optimization includes memory management topics like common leak sources, leak detection, and profiling, and metrics. Under CPU and battery you have background task scheduling and power-saving modes such as AppNap on iOS and Doze mode on Android. Rendering and animation is its own topic, as is app startup time, optimizing geolocation usage, and app size. Next up, observability and testing. It begins with unit testing, 𝐾SITest on iOS and JUnit on Android, followed by mocking frameworks like Mockingbird on iOS and Makita on Android. There is integration testing, UI testing using 𝐾𝐫𝐢𝐼 or Earl Grey on iOS and Espresso or UI Automator on Android. Then CI/CD, end-to-end testing with Detox or Appium, beta distribution and rollouts, logging and monitoring, metrics and dashboards, and crash reporting. Privacy and security covers data encryption, secure storage, minimizing data collection, minimizing permission usage, data retention and deletion, code security and integrity, including obfuscation and privacy compliance. In advanced topics, you'll find on-device machine learning, augmented and virtual reality, wearables, foldables and multi-window UIs, server-driven UI, cross-platform mobile development, and internationalization. Last section is interview strategy, the non-technical side. The important thing to remember here is that you need to lead the conversation and not wait for the interviewer to tell you what to do next. You want to know what questions to ask and which common topics to address during the interview to better cover the requirements and reduce ambiguity. That includes clarifying the scope, whether client, API, or backend, defining functional requirements and non-functional requirements like offline mode, minimizing traffic, minimizing battery consumption, optimizing scroll to hit 60 FPS, ensuring data consistency strong versus eventual, and even addressing the scale of the engineering team. You also define what's out of scope, address scale with metrics like daily active users, handle authentication, and pick target OS versions. Problem navigation covers a structural approach, requirements, data model, and API, high-level design, deep dives. Prioritizing the most important problems first, using breadth-first approach and then depth-first. Foreseeing common issues and learning the basics of the C4 model. You need to communicate effectively by organizing information logically, bringing in relevant context, and making complex topics easy to digest. Also, articulate trade-offs by explaining benefits of your design choices, offering multiple solutions with pros and cons, and weighing conflicting approaches. Finally, engage with the interviewer by listening carefully, reacting to feedback and questions, diving deeper when requested, and being ready to admit mistakes and fix them. Alright, thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, see you in the next one.